We have some breaking news. I'm going to wait for a few people to hop on with me this morning. A little different broadcast. We'll be talking about Donald Trump, President Donald Trump, and even Joe Rogan with all the fires and things like that are happening in California. You may not have heard this before. I'll wait for a few to join, but you may not have heard what I'm going to share with you today. So it's going to be, it could be shocking news. It could be breaking news to you. So just stay with me. I'm going to share some pretty interesting details and news with you in just a moment. As more people are joining, tell me, type in the chat where you're watching from. I always like to give just a few minutes for people to join me. Roblox King, God bless you. Anton, welcome. Africa, wow. I've got friends from South Africa. 2 people from South Africa, wow. Roblox, are you from South Africa or just Africa? We'll be talking about Donald Trump today, Joe Rogan, Botswana, yeah, regarding the fires, that they predicted. Pretty interesting details I'm about to share with you. In fact, in just a moment, I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to play some footage with you. That's going to surprise you. It's going to surprise a lot of people, if you're unaware of what's happening here in the United States. So first off, thanks for joining with me. But for those who are not in America, it's very unfortunate what's happening in California right now. You have the entire state is practically on fire and has burned. And I have to be careful with what I say online, but it's been plotted out and it's been schemed, and there is an agenda behind it. Well, what if I were to tell you that you had a specific group of people, specifically conservatives, that had something to say about this event? In fact, they even predicted it and warned us. People like President Donald Trump and Joe Rogan. Even Joe Rogan went on his podcast. I'm going to share some things with you in just a moment that's going to surprise you, but I came across this and it just hit me, and so I find it to be breaking news. It's actually just regular news. It's actually something that's been out on the public for a while. Roblox, yeah, you're right. We are also living in the last days. And so understanding that, the Bible prophesies that things like this are going to happen. And you even have celebrities and everyday people that are waking up to this type of propaganda and agenda. And so in just a moment, I'm going to share with you what Donald Trump had to say before the fires even took place. I'm going to share with you what Joe Rogan had to say before the fires even took place. So it's pretty interesting. Just a few more seconds. Type in the chat where you're watching from. If you're just joining the broadcast, I'm here in the United States, in Louisiana. Type in the chat where you're watching from. I've got somebody from Africa, South Africa. Let me know. Type in the chat where you're watching from. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. I talk about Bible prophecy, end time eschatology, then also world events just like this. So I'm not going to be teaching too much out of the Bible. Mid-State New York, God bless you. South Africa, Mr. Dunn. Get a lot of people from South Africa here on a Saturday. For those that are from South Africa, is it Saturday or Sunday for you? But I'm going to share my screen. In fact, I'm going to keep it old school. I'm going to flip my camera around in 2 seconds. I'm going to turn my my camera around and I'm going to share some footage with you. And a lot of this is public information too, so it's not like I'm some breaking news guru. A lot of this is just going to be on Twitter. You can find it for yourself. Miss Beth, God bless you. Cleveland, Ohio. Saturday, 17:33. Yeah. Miss Beth, I have a lot of church friends from Iowa. Sioux Falls, Iowa, I believe. The Donald Trump, if you're just joining, sure, the Bible prophesies that in the last days you'll see of natural disasters and 1/3 of the earth is going to be burned. A lot of those things will take place during the Great Tribulation. So I'm not here to teach on that necessarily. G Law, that is a powerful testimony. God is so good, clean from hard drugs and alcohol 6 years ago. Amen. And I believe that this year will be the best year that you've ever had in Jesus' name. So the Bible prophesies that a lot of these things will take place. I'm going to get into it in just a second. But even just common sense thinking and just normal news. Yeah, Beth, that's awesome. Donald Trump warned us. You have people like even Joe Rogan. These are common sense thinkers, and these aren't preachers. These aren't ministers. These are just people that use their brain. And Mr. Dunn, I agree. So yeah, I'm going to share my screen with you. So first off, obviously, if you're living underneath a rock, all of California is on fire right now. Given that they live right next to a body of water, it would, it's pretty ignorant to think that there would be no help, no resources. So, I believe that it was pre-planned. But you have people like President Donald Trump and even Joe Rogan that has, that even warned the American people with something like this. This is what I'm going to do.
Here we are with thousands.
I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to keep this pretty old school. Christopher, thanks for joining. I'm going to keep this pretty old school, and I'm going to flip my camera, and I'm going to share some footage with you that that's from President Donald Trump, and I want you to listen to this. Okay, here we go. This is what I'm going to do.
Here we are with thousands of acres and billions of dollars every year. It's the same thing every year. And they don't want to clean up their forests because they have environmental problems in cleaning it up. It should be the opposite, because you're going to lose your forest. You'll lose it. But it's costing our country hundreds of billions of dollars because of incompetence in California. So the people, I'm speaking now for the people of California, they don't want to see this happen. They're getting destroyed. And it's hurting our budgets. It's hurting our country. And they just better get their act together. Here we are with thousands of acres.
Powerful. Very interesting. Give me a thumbs up emoji in the comment section if you were able to hear that clearly. And it's funny. I'm just moving my camera, but I like to be pretty transparent on these broadcasts. Yeah, Barry, he does seem to really care. He said that a long time ago. Very interesting. Thanks, Crossum. Yeah, very interesting. I want you to think about something. Do you think that the government, stays up late at night wondering, wow, how can we make the lives of the American people better? How can we put more money in the American people's pocket? Do you think they stay up late at night thinking that? Absolutely not. Pebbles. No, I don't. If you didn't hear that, I'm going to play it again, but Barry, I agree. So you have politicians, you've got obviously President Trump that's sharing this prior to just warning the American people because he's on our side. Well, you have other political officials and governors they're ran by an antichrist spirit. And there is an agenda to hurt and kill people. So watch this. I'm going to play it again for those who didn't hear it or for those that are just joining the broadcast.
Here we are with thousands of acres and billions of dollars every year. It's the same thing every year. And they don't want to clean up their forests because they have environmental problems in cleaning it up. It should be the opposite, because you're going to lose your forest. You'll lose it. But it's costing our country hundreds of billions of dollars because of incompetence in California. So the people, I'm speaking now for the people of California, they don't want to see this happen. They're getting destroyed. And it's hurting our budgets. It's hurting our country. And they just better get their act together. Here we are with thousands of acres.
Interesting. So tell me, type in the chat, what do you think about that? Given that that video was years ago, what do you think about that? If you're a Trump fan or not, it doesn't matter. What do you think about somebody in office, somebody that has power, that has authority in our governments, who's coming out and is warning the people ahead of time? And now California's going through what they're going for. It's no coincidence. Beth said that she voted for Trump in 2016 because I watched him speaking 40 years ago, and his message always seemed pro-America. Yeah, he's always been pro-America. It's funny, everybody loved President Trump prior to him going into office. People hate President Trump now because he goes against their wicked policies. All that water, and they don't have a cheap desolation plant. It's just crazy. Yep, same thing happened in Jasper because tree huggers stopped the prescribed burning. Yeah, it's a very interesting thing. So if you're just joining this broadcast, I'm not going to keep you long today, just because, first off, I humble myself. I'm not as informed with some of this as perhaps I should be. I just found it to be interesting. I even found this timeline, too. In 2020, Trump warned Gavin Newsom about the lack of wildfire management in California. If I'm not mistaken, I believe that video that I just shared, that was in 2020. That was 5 years ago. Barry, I respect that. Wow, Brandy, that's powerful. Listen to this timeline. In 2020, Trump warned Gavin Newsom about the lack of wildfire management in California. Then in 2021, it turned out that Gavin Newsom lied about wildfire management. 2024, Newsom cuts California budgets by $101 million. And then this timeline, over the past week, 2025, unimaginable, preventable destruction. Barry, that's a powerful testimony too. And I'll read this to you. I shared this on the broadcast the other day, but I'm going to read something to you too. This is from President Donald Trump on January 8th. He says Governor Gavin Newsom refused to sign the water restoration declaration put before him that would have allowed millions of gallons of water from excess rain and snow melt from the north to flow daily into many parts of California, including the areas that are currently burning in a virtually apocalyptic way. Powerful. He wanted to protect an essentially worthless fish called a smelt by giving it less water, and obviously that didn't work. But didn't care about the people of California. Now the ultimate price is being paid. I will demand that this incompetent governor allow beautiful, clean, fresh water to flow into California. He's the blame for this. On top of it all, no water for fire hydrants, not firefighting planes, a true disaster. Huge. Brandy said, why does the woman in charge of the water, public servant, making $750,000 a year and still failed? Tell me about that, Brandy. I believe, is that like a nonprofit organization? Or Brendan said, not only predicted, but definitely who is really involved with starting the fires. They need to get everyone to a point of a universal income. This is why events are being created on purpose. Yeah, Serenity, I agree. It's not hard to predict it. It's not hard to predict when you understand that the government's not for you. Like they're just not. So where does Joe Rogan fall into this? I want to share something with you too. So we know that Trump warned this. He warned the American people and the government 5 years ago, and the incompetent leadership of California still allowed it. So why does Joe Rogan involve? Listen to this if I can find it. You may have seen this. I'm going to share my screen with you again. Okay, yeah, this is huge. The California fires, watch this. They were perfectly predicted with insane accuracy by a firefighter that spoke with Joe Rogan on his podcast.
Yeah, we just get lucky.
Watch this. I'm going to share my screen with you. I'm not going to keep you long today. Brother Caleb, God bless you. Listen to this. Watch.
I talked to a fireman once. This is one of the reasons it freaked me out. And he was telling me, he goes, dude, one day, he goes, it's just going to be the right wind and fire's going to start in the right place and it's going to burn through LA all the way to the ocean. And there's not a fucking thing we can do about it. I go, really? He goes, yeah, we just get lucky. He goes, we get lucky with the wind. He goes, but if the wind hits the wrong way, it's just going to burn straight through LA, and there's not going to be a thing we can do about it. Because these fires are so big, dude. When they're talking about like thousands of acres that are burning simultaneously with like 40-mile-an-hour winds. And the wind's just blowing embers through the air, and those embers are landing on roofs, and those houses are going up, and they're landing on bushes, and those bushes are going up, and everything's dry. And once it happens in a way where it's so spread out that there's nothing they can do. There's nothing they can do.
You just have to evacuate, right?
Nothing they can do. I talked to a fireman once. This is one of the...
Huge. If you're just joining, I'm talking about President Donald Trump and Joe Rogan. Did they predict the fires? If you just saw that video, I'm going to play it again for those that are just joining. Yeah, Chuck, that's a little ridiculous. But on the left, you can see that Joe Rogan, I don't know, give me a hand emoji in the comment section if you have never seen that video by Joe Rogan before. Apparently, allegedly, there was a firefighter that spoke to Joe Rogan back in 2024 and laid everything out. That's happening right now in California. Give me a hand emoji if you've never seen that video before. Okay, Thomas. Yep. Silver. Native. Lilia, you've never seen that video before. Podcast with a new media. Beth, that's a good point. Debbie's never seen it. I don't know how to say your name. Allie. I'm just going to call you Allie. I'm going to play it again. If you're just joining this broadcast, did President Donald Trump, people like Joe Rogan, did they predict the fires in California? I'll let you see for yourself. One more time for those that are just joining.
I talked to a fireman once. This is one of the reasons it freaked me out. And he was telling me, he goes, dude, one day, he goes, it's just going to be the right wind and fire's going to start in the right place and it's going to burn through LA all the way to the ocean and there's not a fucking thing we can do about it. I go, really? He goes, yeah, we just get lucky. He goes, we get lucky with the wind. He goes, but if the wind hits the wrong way, it's just going to burn straight through LA and there's not going to be a thing we can do about it. Because these fires are so big, dude. When they're talking about like thousands of acres that are burning simultaneously with like 40-mile-an-hour winds. And the wind's just blowing embers through the air, and those embers are landing on roofs, and those houses are going up, and they're landing on bushes, and those bushes are going up, and everything's dry. And once it happens in a way where it's so spread out that there's nothing they can do. There's nothing they can do.
You just have to evacuate, right?
Nothing they can do. I talked to a fireman once.
Huge. Obviously, forgive me for the language. I don't condone that language, but it is what it is. Powerful. Chuck, no, it doesn't happen all the time. And if it does happen all the time, you know exactly why. Trump was the only person Joe Rogan swore he would never have on his podcast. How things have changed. Oh, yeah. Anyways, very interesting. You're pretty small-minded if you think that it was just happenstance. That doesn't happen, especially right by a body of water in California. That's why you have people like Chuck just totally misuninformed. And you're allowed to have your own opinion as long as you know that your opinion is wrong. This is what's called common sense. Thanks, Diana. Yeah, anyways, knowing that there is a huge body of water next to California, Also knowing that legislation was offered and presented, but their governor refused the funding. They refused the bill that would help prevent things like this from happening. And then you have all sorts of individuals that are predicting, essentially prophesying that it's going to happen, predicting that it's going to take place. Yeah, Beth, and then they will blame it on climate change. You're already seeing reports that arson has started it. So anyways, I'm not going to keep you long today. Cat's out the bag. If you're wondering where I stand on this, did Trump and Joe Rogan predict the fires in California? I would say absolutely they did. This is what's called common sense thinking. Anyways, I may go on later tonight. Just wanted to hop on here quickly, just share some breaking news. Maybe you've seen these videos before, maybe you haven't. Don't forget, subscribe to my YouTube channel. By the grace of God, I have over 1.2 million subscribers on YouTube. If you want to make sure you're going to heaven when you die, check out the video that's on my YouTube page where I pray with you how to make sure you're going to heaven. There's over 390,000 views on that video. People giving their life to Christ. Make sure that all of your accounts with God are paid in full. But I believe that God's not finished with America. He's not finished with California. And I believe that what the devil meant for harm, God is going to turn this around for good. If you agree with me, give me a fire emoji in the comment section. Give me a fire emoji in the comment section if you're with me. Amen, Beth, I agree. Thanks, Julie. That means a lot. Frank, if you're scared, don't be scared. Just go to my YouTube channel. Go to my YouTube channel and watch the video, how to make sure you're going to heaven. I pinned it at the very top of my page. Native, I agree. Give me a fire emoji if you agree with what I'm saying, if you're with me. Thanks again, Julie. Jeff, I agree. Pray for your family, Frank. Well, I'm going to log off here. I'll see you later tonight. God bless every one of you. In Jesus' mighty name.